Jax's revenge domain. "I think we need softer energy in the room," he said, stirring his coffee like it was the last bit of courage he had left. Lance Rodriguez couldn't quite look me in the eye, which was funny considering he used to brag about closing deals with oil executives in Houston. But now he was scared of a guy who asked vendors for proper invoicing and followed up on missed deadlines. That was me, Graham Peterson, 51 years old, Senior Director of Operations, formerly indispensable, now apparently intimidating. The actual words he used were, "My wife thinks you're too intimidating with the vendors. Can we dial that back?" There it was. The iceberg tip, and I'd already read the water. His wife Brooke had been appointed to the board 3 months ago, which really meant she'd bulldozed her way in with Instagram followers, buzzwords, and her daddy's connections to a fragrance empire. Her new title was Chief Brand Officer. I wish I was joking. She came in like a hurricane made of mood boards and marketing speak, demanding we scrap product lines that hadn't even launched yet. And now she was restructuring the department, which is corporate talk for finding a way to fire the people who actually know what they're doing. So I smiled, not the fake kind you give to difficult customers. I mean the full, calm, possibly dangerous smile I save for when I'm planning my exit strategy. "Of course," I told him, "I'll be more careful." What I didn't say was careful with what? My results, my tone, my expectations, or careful not to embarrass your wife by actually knowing how this business works? That afternoon, I walked out of his office past the junior staff who still talked about the time I saved a failed influencer collaboration by rerouting 60,000 units through backup logistics without waking a single VP. I opened my laptop, took a deep breath, and wrote the most polite, devastating resignation letter the HR system had probably ever processed. Effective immediately. No drama, no notice period, no more Graham. There was no tantrum, no angry emails, no mysterious disappearing files. That's amateur stuff. What I did was surgical, professional, and honestly, satisfying. But before I get to the good part, let me tell you what they didn't understand. For the last 16 years, I wasn't just managing operations. I was the operations. Procurement contracts, vendor relationships, fulfillment override codes, inventory algorithms, even the invisible budget approvals that kept our high-end client concierge service running smoothly. All of it crossed my desk. And while I never abused that access, I certainly knew which threads held this whole operation together. So I logged out properly, professionally. Then I pulled the plug on my personal consulting arrangement with a European luxury supplier. An arrangement that Brooke didn't even know existed. One that handled a third of her precious winter collection through co-marketing funds. I shut it down with 2 emails and a thank you note. I deauthorized my own emergency approval keys from the internal ordering system. I cleared my permissions on the loyalty platform, so all escalated rewards now required manual authorization. I archived every relevant standard operating procedure into a secure drive and labeled it for your restructure. Then I left. Walked right out into the afternoon sun with my leather briefcase, grabbed a black coffee from the shop downstairs, and watched the first domino wobble. Lance thought he was managing office politics. He didn't realize he just removed the only person keeping the machine from eating itself alive. The next morning, I woke up without an alarm for the first time in years. No Slack notifications, no inbox fires to put out, no 6 a.m. calls from some panicked VP whose influencer girlfriend wanted a custom bag in a color we didn't manufacture. Just silence. The kind of silence that used to make me nervous. Now it felt like freedom. I made my coffee slow, checked nothing, and then out of pure habit almost logged into the company dashboard. My hand hovered over the mouse like muscle memory, but no, I was done. No more midnight budget reconciliations, no more shipping crisis management, no more creative workarounds for a woman who thought hashtags were operations strategy. Instead, I opened my personal laptop. Clean slate. No corporate tracking software, no monitoring systems, just fresh air. I opened a single folder, my own departure plan. Not for HR, for me. Compliance reports, finalized. All flagged exceptions noted, filed properly in the shared drive under the appropriate fiscal quarters. The kind of reports that used to get me thank you texts from Spencer Coleman, our CFO, during audit season. My vendor accounts, systematically disconnected, not torched, not sabotaged, just professionally removed. My name, my authority, my role, all unlinked from multi-million-dollar vendor relationships I'd cultivated like a master craftsman. Slow, precise, no room for error. I was the only person with active negotiation threads open on 3 continents, and I deleted every template I'd ever created. Didn't even save backup copies. Some things shouldn't be recycled. The consulting arrangement with the Milan supplier, that quiet Swiss production contract that Brooke never noticed in the budget, I ended it myself. The founder sent me a voice message in Italian I couldn't fully translate, but I caught the words for devastated and idiots. I replied with a photo of the sunset from my back porch. No caption needed. Next came fulfillment authorization. Most people don't realize how fragile shipping approval systems really are. Give one person too much power, you risk fraud. Give too little, the whole chain bottlenecks. I was the keystone. My override keys, I didn't delete them. I revoked them. There's a difference. Every internal trigger that relied on my emergency approvals now routed to nowhere. It was surgical, quiet, no alarms, no angry emails, just a soft disconnection of one brain from a machine that didn't know it needed that brain yet. And I left something behind. One folder, physical, not digital, manila, tabbed, sitting on Lance's assistant's desk like sealed fate. Label, per your restructure. Inside were process flows, delegation chains, contingency matrices, all annotated with red flags where roles had been quietly reassigned or not reassigned at all. Not a threat, not sabotage, just reality. A mirror. I didn't expect applause, but I also didn't expect nothing. No thank you, no goodbye, not even a courtesy email from HR who probably found out I was gone when my badge stopped working. The weirdest part? Nobody tried to stop me. They didn't even notice the gravity shifting. That's how you know you've really done your job right, when everything looks fine even as the infrastructure walks out the door in khakis and a polo shirt. By sunset, I was halfway through a beer I'd been saving for a real occasion. I toasted myself. Not out of pride, out of grief. The kind of grief that comes when you realize you built something important for people who never looked past the quarterly numbers. Let them run it. Let them try. I hadn't changed any rules. I just stopped being the exception to all of them. It started like all good corporate disasters do, with a very polite, very frantic email. Subject line, urgent. Exclusivity clause escalation from a junior PR rep in Los Angeles who used to send me gift baskets during campaign season. The email went to about 12 people who had no business reading it but were definitely about to panic. The body was short. Hi all, just following up on the signed exclusivity clause for our client's capsule launch next month. Need confirmation by end of day or the press embargo lifts and their stylist goes with another label. Our client is assuming exclusivity as promised. Please advise. No attachments. No clause. No contract. Of course they couldn't find it because I was the one who drafted it. I was the one who held the signature page, and I had done everything by the book. Filed, archived, delivered to legal for processing. Whether legal had passed it along to the new brand office or whether Brooke had decided she didn't believe in contracts, well, that wasn't my problem anymore. But it was definitely about to be someone's problem. Meanwhile, across the country, our warehouse in New Jersey, the one that moves 60% of our holiday inventory, stopped fulfilling orders at 10:17 a.m. Just stopped. Every outbound shipment flagged as unauthorized because when you pull the person with override codes and don't replace them, things start to freeze up. At first, someone probably assumed it was a system glitch. Maybe they tried rebooting. Maybe they opened a support ticket. Maybe they even called Russell Anderson in IT, who's been 6 months from retirement since Bush left office. None of it worked. Why? Because the system wasn't broken. It was doing exactly what I'd programmed it to do when no valid override existed. Hours passed. Orders backed up. Retail partners started asking questions. Delayed pending release. Can someone confirm if SKUs 94LX and 95LX were discontinued? They weren't discontinued. They were locked behind workflows I used to manage, and those workflows were now orphans. I didn't find out from a coworker. Nobody called me. I found out because a fashion blog called The Style Report posted a blind item. Is one major holiday drop about to flop thanks to a silent executive exodus? There was a picture of one of our handbags with the caption, "Still waiting." That made me chuckle. Not a big laugh, just a quiet, satisfied sound while I was standing in line at the hardware store, buying lawn fertilizer I'd been putting off for months. Later that night, scrolling from my couch with a whiskey in hand, I spotted the celebrity stylist's Instagram story. Just a black screen with white text, waiting on contracts that don't exist. Yikes. Same PR rep forwarded the original thread to Lance. I know because someone screenshot it and posted it on a Slack gossip channel that, yes, I still had access to. Sue me, I'm not evil. Lance replied to everyone, looping in brand office for support. Graham handled this previously. Let's circle back tomorrow. Except Graham wasn't handling anything anymore. Graham was watching old westerns and eating pretzels on his couch while the house he built started to groan under its own weight. No sirens, no smoke. Just the first hairline crack in the foundation. The morning of the quarterly board preview, Brooke arrived like she was walking a red carpet. Designer boots, glossy coat swinging like a victory flag. 2 assistants in tow, one carrying coffee, the other wheeling a rack that squeaked like it was in pain. She'd renamed it the Winter Edit, even though nothing had actually been edited. It was my line, my vendors, my supply chain. She just painted over the nameplate. She entered the boardroom grinning, ready for her moment. The board was half-seated, investors were mid-bagel, and there she was at the head of the table like she was about to part the Red Sea. "Good morning, everyone," she beamed. "Today marks the beginning of our new creative chapter." 10 seconds later, the projector screen blinked twice and displayed 404, collection not found. That's when she blinked. Spencer Coleman, our CFO and the kind of guy who brings antacids to every meeting, gently stood up. "Apologies," he said carefully. "There seems to be a delay. The system pulled the winter line due to back-end production conflicts." She frowned. "That's impossible. I signed off on everything last week." He cleared his throat. "Actually, Graham signed off on it. You submitted brand notes. The emergency production routes Graham used were flagged after his departure. His permissions expired. Nobody's reauthorized them." Silence fell like a curtain. You could hear someone's watch ticking. She stared at him. "We just restarted." Spencer shook his head. "We tried. The workflow Graham built runs through budget checks and override tiers. Nobody else had his level of access. Not even you." The assistant with the squeaky rack looked like she wanted to disappear. "What about the vendor side?" Brooke snapped. "Most of them are waiting on contract renewal. A few requested 12-month prepayment terms due to confidence disruptions." The word confidence echoed in the room. She was used to influence speak. Vibes, aesthetics, trends. Not consequences. Not systematic collapse. She'd walked into this room expecting applause. Instead, she got a blank screen and the slow realization that all those annoying approval texts I used to send weren't noise. They were the foundation. Back in my kitchen, I was halfway through a crossword and a second cup of coffee when someone sent me a photo of that boardroom screen. The caption was just, "Did you do this?" I laughed for real. First time since walking out that I let myself feel it. Not anger, not betrayal, but pure satisfaction. The quiet thrill of watching someone finally understand that competence doesn't advertise itself. It just works. And when it leaves, it takes the engine with it. That day, they tried patching things manually. Someone in brand tried to send an old prototype list to production, got flagged by procurement. Legal didn't know which contracts were still active. Finance refused to move funds without proper routing. Everyone was suddenly realizing the same thing. The system wasn't frozen. It was following the rules. My rules. The ones I'd spent 16 years refining. Rules they never bothered to learn. And Brooke, who'd called me a little too corporate, who once asked me in front of the interns if I could make my emails feel less like legal documents. She was sitting in that boardroom with her half-empty almond milk latte and a blank screen, watching her debut turn to ash. The best part? I wasn't even there. I didn't have to be. By midweek, the building was metaphorically on fire. Slack channels turned into panic rooms. Subject lines became all-caps cries for help. Every single thing I used to do automatically, invisibly, with the calm of a seasoned professional was suddenly violently visible. The team was scrambling, not working, scrambling, like kids trying to rebuild a watch they took apart without reading the manual first. Inventory forecasts, gone. I had built those algorithms by hand, linked to seasonal trends, influencer cycles, and customer tier demand patterns. The replacement was apparently a spreadsheet. Someone sent out a draft with 3 typos in the first column header. Shipping escalations, manual now. which would be fine if anyone knew how I'd structured the priority codes. They sent a high urgency tag to a vendor we hadn't used since 2019. He responded with a selfie from a yacht in Miami and the message, "Who dis?" But the real punch came from an old textile supplier in Seoul. We'd worked together for years, quiet, consistent, never late. I had personal relationships with two of their regional leads. They trusted me because I understood what on time actually meant in their world. Their response came hard and fast. Due to changes in leadership and voided escalation agreements, we require 12-month prepayment for all production orders. Contractual trust has been compromised. 12 months. In our world, that's like someone asking for a decade's worth of loyalty before they'll sell you thread. Finance flipped. Legal flagged it. Lance called it extortion, which only proved he had no clue how that relationship worked in the first place. But my favorite moment came when Brooke decided to bypass all protocol entirely. She emailed Wesley Foster, our junior operations manager, sweet guy who always stayed late and triple-checked everything, telling him to reinstate the winter edit manually, skip budget checkpoints, and use his best judgment. Her exact words: "We don't need Graham's little rules anymore. Just get it done." Wesley, smart as he is, didn't respond. He forwarded it straight to legal. Then, because his mother raised him right, he blind copied HR and archived the thread with a timestamp note. "Request exceeds my clearance level. Refer to audit protocol." I found out because a former intern I'd mentored sent me a message. No greeting, just, "You were the glue. It's all falling apart." That hit different. Not smug, just hollow. Because they weren't wrong. I was the glue. I just never thought they'd try to hold up the cathedral without it. They called an emergency meeting on Friday. Classic move. Dump the disaster before the weekend. Hope Monday amnesia will fix everything. Except this wasn't the kind of mess that fades after 48 hours of denial. The boardroom smelled like fresh pastries and quiet dread. Lance opened with forced optimism that landed somewhere between a hostage video and a used car commercial. "Thanks for joining on short notice," he said, clicking his remote like a panic button. "We're experiencing some transitional growing pains, but we're confident this is all part of our forward momentum." First slide was either a flowchart or a crime scene. It showed production timelines that didn't connect to procurement approvals, campaign dates before product availability, and something labeled winter revision circled in red 3 times. A senior partner leaned forward, the kind who made millions during the last recession and hasn't smiled since. Key partners, freezing deals? Lance hesitated. Some relationships were informal, handled off-cycle. We're renegotiating. Translation: we don't know. Another partner tried. Weren't those managed under operations? Spencer Coleman spoke without looking up. Yes. Graham handled them. There it was. My name, spoken like it belonged to a ghost haunting the building. Can't we just reassign those workflows? Spencer looked up this time. Cold. Clinical. Graham left and nobody's sure what systems he controlled. There are authorizations pending that we can't trace. Legacy protocols nobody documented. He didn't hide anything. He just owned it. And now he's gone. Silence. Not dramatic, just solid like concrete setting. The first voicemail came Sunday night. Unknown number, but I recognized the tone. That shaky, desperate pitch people use when they realize the bridge they burned might have been their only way home. "Hi, Graham, it's Brooke. I know this is unexpected, but we made a mistake. I made a mistake. Things aren't working. The board's upset. I think we got off on the wrong foot. We could really use your help. If you'd be open to a conversation, please call me back." I didn't. I turned the volume down and went back to grilling burgers for dinner. The second attempt was more official. Corporate header, digital signature, soft language masking hard desperation. From Lance himself. "Graham, hoping to initiate a short-term consulting engagement to guide us through ongoing transitions. We value your insights on the systems you help design. Flexible structure, no pressure, just exploring collaboration possibilities. Hope you're well. I read it 3 times. Not considering it, marveling at the sheer nerve it took to ask for a life preserver from the guy they'd pushed overboard. They didn't want collaboration. They wanted CPR. I deleted it without responding. That night I ordered pizza from the place that knows my name and never gets my order wrong. Sat on my couch in sweatpants older than their inventory system and watched a documentary about engineering disasters. Seemed fitting. By Tuesday, the headlines hit like precision strikes. Nothing dramatic, just surgical cuts from journalists who lived for this kind of blood. Holiday capsule delayed. Internal restructuring to blame. Luxury brands Winterline MYA. Sources cite leadership vacuum. Then came the blogs. Fashion insider sites ran blind items thinly disguised as fiction. When the man who ran operations like a Swiss watch walks out the door, what's left? One CEO's wife might be regretting her restructure right about now. The brand tried damage control with a flashy campaign featuring last year's leftovers dressed up as classic winter staples reimagined. But influencers were already whispering that their PR boxes hadn't arrived, and fulfillment centers were still missing vendor authorization. Then someone posted a TikTok. Grainy office lighting, junior buyer I barely remembered filming herself with dead eyes. The one guy who ran this place left and took the company's soul with him. 800,000 views overnight. Comments flooded in. Graham, if you see this, teach me your ways. I knew something was off when our returns doubled. Petition to find Graham and make him CEO. That same day, I got a text from someone who might actually respect what I'd built. Holden Brooks, founder of a smaller luxury house, hungrier, smarter, cleaner operations. We met at a quiet steakhouse downtown. He arrived early, crisp navy suit, no wasted time. Graham, he said after we shook hands, I don't want what you had. I want what you are. Build something better from the ground up. Full autonomy, equity partnership, no committees. I sipped my whiskey. You understand what that takes? He nodded. That's why I called. He slid a folder across the table. Not legal documents, just 3 things. A logistics map, a P&L snapshot, and a hand-drawn sketch of a product line that didn't exist yet. I want systems that scale without breaking, he said. Elegance behind the curtain, not just in front of it. I hadn't realized how much I missed being seen. Not as a function or utility, but as a builder. I didn't say yes immediately, but we both knew where this was heading. What about non-compete? I asked. You didn't compete, he smiled. You just stopped propping them up. There's a difference. Fair point. The final call came Thursday morning. Lance himself this time, no assistant buffer. Voice cracking like a teenager asking someone to prom. Graham, please, I'm begging you. The board is talking about bringing in outside management. My family built this company. I can't lose it because of what, Lance? Long pause. Because I didn't realize what we had in you. I let that hang in the air for a moment. Not for cruelty, for education. The problem isn't that you didn't realize, I said finally. The problem is you never tried to learn. You had 16 years to understand what I did. Instead, you let your wife convince you I was the problem. She knows she was wrong. We both do. Good for you. But knowing and learning are different things. And some lessons cost more than others. I hung up. Not in anger. In finality. That afternoon, I called Holden Brooks back. We met for coffee, shook hands on the equity split, and started planning something that would actually last. 6 months later, I read in Women's Wear Daily that Lance had stepped down as CEO. The board brought in a turnaround specialist, but by then it was too late. Half their vendor relationships were poisoned, their reputation was shot, and their best people had jumped to competitors. Brooke had quietly divorced Lance and moved back to Los Angeles to pursue influencer opportunities. Lance sold his stake and bought a small fishing boat somewhere in Florida. Meanwhile, Holden and I launched our first collection. Clean supply chains, transparent pricing, quality that spoke for itself. No mood boards, no hashtags, just craftsmanship that people could trust. Our investors included 3 former clients from my old company and 2 vendors who'd gotten tired of dealing with amateurs. The business cards read, Brooks and Peterson Luxury Goods. Graham Peterson, Chief Operating Partner. For the first time in 16 years, my name was on the door, and this time, nobody was going to ask me to dial it back. Back home, I sat on my porch with a good whiskey, watching the sunset paint the sky like a promise kept. Somewhere across town, empty offices sat dark in a building that used to matter. But out here, in the quiet space between what was and what could be, something new was growing. Excellence finally getting its second chance. The truth is, they never fired me for being intimidating. They fired me for being irreplaceable, and that scared them more than any meeting room confrontation ever could.